Guys, can we just say something about the Igbo? As one Igbo when abom onye Igbo. Asusanyi na samoso. Emekanyi na samoso. Achom kandibanyi na mo wenfa na asusanyi. Omo for the n'ime anyị. Ndị mụrụ anyị akụziri anyị otu esi asụ anyị kita ya mara asụ ya ma anyị na-anụ ya. Ndị ụmụ ụfọdụ anyị adịrị anụ ya mana ọ bụrụ na fa na-asụela anyị na-asị anyị sụalụ fia o a na-aja nza ajụjụ fa a na-asị ya na Igbo, then I'm waking up. So, and one thing I will say, guys, is a lot of people, growing up and stuff are saying, oh, my parents never taught me Igbo. I think it's a sign of laziness. Why wouldn't they teach us? And I understand that they felt that the parents were lazy, that all they had to do was teach them and make sure they spoke back to them in Igbo, because a lot of parents now will speak to their child in Igbo and then allow the child to speak back in English. So the child never actually gets to learn how to speak, but only understands. But if you only understand, you can't pass it on to the next generation. So we have a pandemic of where so many people can understand Igbo but can't speak. Unfortunately for me, my parents, especially my dad, made sure that we could all speak. Like, we'd actually have to just speak it in the house, and if we weren't going to speak it, we shouldn't speak. So anytime we're speaking to him, he'd want to do it in Igbo, and if he'd heard us conversing, he'd also tell us, like, switch it off to Igbo. So we actually did Igbo. But I have cousins, relatives, friends that, like, my parents didn't teach me Igbo. I think, to be honest, and I'm not saying any parents is lazy, but I do think it's a form of laziness. English you'll always learn in school, always. So if you start now and you're teaching your child Igbo at home, when they get to school, they'll learn English. And I now have cousins that have had kids that speak Igbo, that are not teaching their kids Igbo. And I think we're doing ourselves such a disservice by not teaching our kids Igbo. I think it's a major disservice. Like, we're not, at the end of onye Igbo agara bịa kụziri anyị asụsụ anyị, ọ bụrụ onye ọcha ya bịa kụziri anyị asụsụ anyị, ka ndị ya kụziri anyị asụsụ anyị sọsọ anyị nwere ike ịkụziri onwe anyị asụsụ anyị. Biko ọ bụrụ na unu ma onye nwe ụmụaka kịta na-amụ ụmụ ma asụ Igbo, sifa biko subara ụmụaka gị Igbo ka fa na-asụkwa gị Igbo.
I said here, if you know people that are having kids and they speak Igbo, to let them know to please teach the children Igbo, because we don't want a point where no one speaks Igbo and then we're looking for who to blame.
We've actually come to an extent that we need institutions to have Igbo lessons and to teach it in the schools. I think Igbo people especially, because I feel like Yoruba people always speak that language, Hausa people always speak that language. I don't know about the other ones that I haven't come across, but I think for Igbo people it's always like, oh, I understand, or and Igbo people love their culture. It's just a language. You'll have people that grow up in Nigeria that don't even speak Igbo. And I just think, as parents or as people that speak Igbo, please, let's not do ourselves a disservice. Let's spread this language. Let's make sure our kids can speak it, so that in the next generation, Igbo will be preserved. Let me know what you think. Do you speak Igbo? How's it been with you growing up? Have you felt that if you don't speak Igbo, that your parents have done you a disservice, or you're not really bothered? And I always say this: Englishmen will always know English. We are not English. We're not British. I mean, we can be British, we can be American, we can be all sorts, but at the end of the day, your core roots, your name, everything is Igbo. If they trace you back to your ancestors, you're Igbo. So you're doing self a disservice by not learning it. What are your thoughts? Let me know.